We'll see. All right, guys, we're live. It's Joe, Rosen, and Lissette Hurtado, and today we want to answer the question that's really become a big question ever since the coronavirus hit us, right? Everybody's kind of staying in their own house. They're getting their pools. They're getting their kitchens all done. They're getting their flooring done. Man, I tell you what, if you're a handyman, a flooring person, cabinets, pools, anything like that, woo, you're in the money right now because it has been crazy, man. So I think that's a trend that we have seen. I don't know that that's a trend that's going to go away anytime soon. I see that continuing. So a question that I get a lot, I'm going to ask you here in a second, Lissette, is if I want to buy a pool, A, is it smart? And B, should I be purchasing a home with a pool, or should I go buy something else and then come back and build that pool?
Yeah, I think it really boils down to the question, what factors of the property is more important for you? Is it more important to ensure you have that pool, or is it more important that you get the square footage, the bedrooms that you're looking for, the area? Because at the end of the day, we really have to play with the budget. And depending on what budget you have, that'll let us see, okay, we could afford pool homes, maybe a 3-2 with a pool, or if you want a 4-2 or a 4-3, and that's at the top of your budget, that kind of weeds out pool homes.
Yeah.
So we really have to factor in on what you're working with and what's the main aspects that you're looking for in your property.
That's a great point. You know, I'll push too. I think it's really intelligent before you go meet with a lender, because, man, I've seen this happen a lot. Look at your budget. I don't know your budget. Lissette doesn't know your budget. The lender doesn't know your doggone budget. You know your budget better than anybody. So don't let anybody else dictate what you should take out of your monthly income and put into a house. Decide that before you meet with a lender, because what I see happen is they want a home for, let's say, $2,000 a month, right? And when you do the math, I don't know what that equals, but let's say it's $300,000. They'll go in and they'll get approved for $375,000. So what do? Lissette, let's look up to $375,000, right? And then Lissette and I have to have a really painful conversation with you 18 months later when you've got to sell because that payment's too high. So really figure that out first. But once you figure that out, Lisette's absolutely right, man. Go in and say, okay, can I purchase what I want with a pool, with the bedrooms I want, with the square footage, with that 3-stall garage, with the 3rd-acre lot, or whatever it is you're looking for? If you can, awesome. But for most people who are in that 250 to 400 range, which is probably 80% of people, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And it doesn't matter if you pick pool or bedrooms or square footage or any of that. What matters is that you take the time to actually look at that stuff, make a logical decision instead of going out and just hoping and wishing that you're going to get everything, because honestly, that's just illogical and it's going to slow you down. So, Lissette, I think that's a great point. I want to point something else out too. I just looked it up, and out of all the listings on the market, and I went back and looked at sales in the last 90 days, it was roughly 22 to 24% at any given time in Port St. Lucie had a pool. So my thought process is this. Let's just round it to 20 to 25, right? My thought process is this. If I come in and I'm saying I have to have a pool, I'm limiting myself to 1 out of every 4 or 1 out of every 5 homes. That means 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 homes I'm not even looking at. It could be the best looking, most updated, most well-maintained homes on the market, and I'm not even seeing them because I've checked the box that says I have to have a pool when I could go out and build a pool, right? So I think it's really important too. Again, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying really be cognizant of what you're getting rid of. I see that all the time too with people. I've got to have a fence. And I'll explain to them, listen, I can go through and I can kind of weed that stuff out. You can weed it out too. We can look through that. No, Joe. Check the box that says fence. Okay, here's the problem. How many realtors are not checking the box that says fence on a listing that actually has a fence? It happens all the time, right? Maybe it's a mistake, whatever it is. And even if it does have that box checked, it doesn't mean, if you got a strip of fence in the back and it's your neighbor's fence, you know how many realtors are checking that box? A lot, because they want a way to market that property. So because it's really inaccurate, why check it, right? It's limiting you severely in the amount of properties you're able to look at. It's the same thing with pools. So I wouldn't say if you've got to have a pool to go out and look at other homes that don't have pools, but really understand what you're limiting yourself to. What do you think of that, Lissette?
Definitely don't box yourself in, and specifically with adding a pool or adding a fence, those necessarily are not such complicated issues to address down the road and to add. except for my case. But other than that, you can add a fence, you can add a pool in your backyard. It doesn't interfere with your living space in the future. And you still got the home that you were looking for. So yeah, don't box yourself in. Always be open to more options out there.
All right, you know me, I'm a stats nerd, so I got to share some stats with everybody here just so I can feel content with myself. So I looked at sales in Port St. Lucie, single-family homes only, in the last 90 days, and we had 1,624 sales. That's a lot of sales. Now, of all of those single-family home sales in the last 90 days, the average price per square foot was $176.71. All right. Now, the average square footage on those homes was just under 1,900 at 1,889 square feet. So now let's break that into two categories, right? Those 1,624, let's break it down. How many have pools? 414, right? Roughly a quarter of them. They were at $194.81 a square foot, considerably higher, but they also averaged a little bit more square footage, 2,144. Those without pools, which is the other 1,210, they were selling for an average of $170.49 a square foot, and they had 1,815 square feet. So when you look at the price per square foot difference between homes with pools and homes without, it comes up to $24.32 a square foot more. So again, looking at that square footage, just looking at 1,900 to 2,000 square feet, that means a pool added to that home, same home, right, on average, is $45,000 to $50,000 extra. Now, I throw out one little asterisk, because if you have a pool and it's an average pool, you're instantly going to say, hearing that stat, cool, my pool's worth 45 to 50 grand, right? Here's the thing. People who have the money to build pools, to buy pools, tend to have the money to upgrade their property a little bit more. They tend to have granite countertops, upgraded cabinets, tile flooring, 10-foot ceilings. They tend to have the money to do those things. Not always, but I'm looking at averages, right? I'm not looking at one or two homes. So with that in mind, on average, those homes, that $24.32 difference probably isn't just because they've got a pool. It's because of some other things as well. But it's pretty safe to say that 35 to 42-ish, and that's a complete guess, but just a hair under where we're at, is probably a more accurate depiction of the amount of value you're getting out of a pool. Lissette, how accurate do you think that guess is right there?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, and not only that, also thinking about a marketing standpoint, take a home that's same square footage with a pool, without a pool, and then one with a pool, you're going to get probably double the offers on the property with the pool as well. One point I would like to make is, if you're looking into new construction, keep in mind the builders that you're looking at. If you're going to go with a custom home builder, you're more likely to be able to put a pool within that package and have the home built with a pool. That if you go with spec homes, properties that are just already, floor plans, and you can't make too many changes, you're going to come across that difficulty where the builder doesn't allow you to put in the pool as the home is being built. That's what happened to us. We had to wait after we purchased the property, closed later down the line, add the pool in. But it was one of those things we were willing to sacrifice for, because we were getting our floor plan that we wanted and the amount of square footage and rooms, instead of just going with a home that was maybe a little bit smaller that already had the pool.
Yeah, all wonderful points. And there are a lot of different builders out there too, depending upon your price point, where you're looking, all that different stuff, who will do pools and who will not do pools. So if pools are a must for you, make sure you ask that builder up front, is that something we can add in and we can get it done by the time I move in? That's really important, right? Two last things that I'll add, and then Lissette, as always, I'll let you end this sucker. When you're thinking, should I buy a home that already has a pool, or should I build a new pool? One thing for me is, well, how much would that new pool cost me, right? So you're looking anywhere right now. 45 is probably the low range. Anything below that, I'd be a little hesitant of. And sky's the limit on the high end. But I'll tell you, for an average pool in this area, a higher end pool, it's probably about $100,000, right, for the whole thing, the screen, the pool, the flooring, all that, or the decking, all that stuff. So you're looking right in that $50,000 to $100,000 range, right? But the average is probably a $70,000, $80,000 pool package. So looking at that, and looking at the fact that when you purchase a home that already has one, I'm estimating it's probably 35 to 42 on average added to that price. It makes a lot more sense financially to purchase the home that has the pool in it already, right? But there's two asterisks to that I would consider. Number one, if you're going to buy a home and you're going to put a pool in yourself, you can be pickier. So if you're really picky on the coloring of your pool and the decking of your pool, and you don't want to redo somebody else's pool, then yes, you might want to get your own pool so you can specify exactly what it is you want to do. If you're picky, you got to pay for it, man. The second thing is timing. Right now, a lot of pool companies are 12 to 18 months out because everybody and their mother wants to get a pool. So realizing that is important, right? Just be aware. If you're cool with that, go get it. But man, if you want that pool right now, you're probably going to wish you didn't do that when you purchase without a pool. Lissette, take it away. Let's hear it.
From my experience, I purchased my home, then added the pool, and what I loved about it is I did get to design it and say how I wanted it, and I got the home that I wanted with the square footage I want. But in today's market, I think we have to be very mindful of the inventory we have out there and the options we have, and don't box yourself in. If you really want that pool home now, understand that you're going to be giving up certain factors to get that pool home or to get it within your budget. No. So be open-minded and look at all the options and weigh your pros and cons. Hopefully within a year, the pool booming business will slow down a little bit and won't take so long to get a pool, and you could build it and still have the home that you wanted.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lissette. Thank you for everybody who listened. If you guys have any questions, specifically with pools, but really with anything, you can DM either one of us. We'll always get back to you. And it doesn't matter if you buy or sell a home with us. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling a home anytime soon. We are more than happy to help. This is our community. So just reach out, ask questions, and we're more than happy. Lissette, have an awesome day, my friend.
Have a great one, Joe.